if anything, it seems like that could be, if there's going to be, that could be a huge issue. Could you kind of run through that for those of us that are novices in this process?
Yes.
How does this play out? What happens? Obviously, we're talking about a very tight race at the end of the day, or even early tomorrow.
So the provisional ballot issue itself, because of military and mail-in ballots from the military, those envelopes do not get open for 7 days. They then have 10 days where they open those ballots and they count those ballots. Only the election observers that the parties have pre-selected can actually sit in on that process when they do that. The issue here is we already had 200,000 provisional ballots a few years ago, but we have so many more people that have asked for mail-in ballots. There's this possibility we could have an influx of additional provisional ballots. The other issue is it was the responsibility of the poll official to ask somebody whether or not, for their ID, basically to put down their 4-digit social security number or whatever ID they bring on the form that the Secretary of State printed out. That responsibility is now with the voter to write that down. The Secretary of State last Friday at 4:30 in the evening basically invalidated those ballots. By invalidating those ballots, he basically said if they put the wrong information down, they're invalid, they're dead. That's being fought out in court. So there could be a very big legal battle over those provisional ballots and that issue. This would all only kick in if you had, 300, 400,000 provisional ballots, and if the election becomes a half a percentage point or a percentage point or less, all of these scenarios kick in. Understand, though, that is just to open those ballots and go through the process of determining who won Ohio. The process after that could involve recounts. If there's a half a percentage point or less, there's an automatic recount. If anything above that, there would actually be the opportunity for one party or the other to do a paid recount. It could kick on for a long time. We won't know. Let's hope that we don't get there and we don't go to overtime here. And I know this is kind of complicated for folks, but it is important. If you voted provisionally, you can check and make sure your vote counts. The most important thing, if you went to the polls today and you voted provisionally, call, follow through, fight for your vote to count, because if you do that, you're going to be in much better shape in the end. But this could kick into overtime, and lawyers could be playing through this for a long time. Can I do one from the phone and then back? Okay. Anybody on the phone? Okay. The toll-free number for provisional ballots is 1-866-644-6868. If you filled out a provisional ballot, you call 1-866-644-6868, and you will find out whether your ballot counts. All right? Before we go into the next question, Danita Judge just got here, and I would like let's let her get ready, and I'll take your question in the back. Ma'am.
Oh yes. How many provisional ballots do you think are out there? As someone said, 100,000, possibly upwards of that.
Well, I can tell you that there were 209.
George Nelson from the Business Journal
has left the conference.
Oh, we lost George Nelson. We had 209,000 provisional ballots in 2008. You figure because there are many more people that are voting and more opportunities for something to happen, you figure 25 to 50,000 more would have automatically probably happened this year. But there were, as of yesterday, now mail still comes in, there were over 360,000 people who had asked for a mail ballot but had not sent their mail ballots in. If any of those folks go to vote today, say just a quarter of those folks showed up to vote today, that's an extra 100,000 provisional ballots. That could put you in range of 325 to 400,000 provisional ballots. We'll know at the end of the day how many provisional ballots there are, and we'll be able to figure out by the percentage of the final tally tonight whether those provisional ballots will have an impact. Then it would kick in, and Ohio would go on. Now, of course, that would predicate Ohio's electoral votes are what are going to determine the presidency. We still could be in for this long period, but there are other ways to win the presidency than just winning Ohio. So, Danita?